everybody, I am Ace Creeper and today I'm back with another Doctor Who Series 12 review. Today we're reviewing episode 3, Orphan 55, which is just aired on BBC One. Just watched it, had a think about it, made a few notes and sat down to record. So, so going into this episode, what were my expectations? Mixed. I saw the Next Time trailer and I thought, maybe not. Maybe this isn't going to be great, but, I'm going to go in with an open mind, see what I think about it. Maybe it might be good, might be bad, I don't know. But I was still, I was cautiously optimistic, right? Because it was Ed Hime. Ed Hime, who obviously wrote It Takes You Away last year. It Takes You Away was moderately well received, I feel. I personally quite enjoyed it. So, again, I had some expectations for this. It was the first non-tribunal episode of Series 12, first standalone story of Series 12 that wasn't a two-parter. So it didn't have too much writing on it. However, I was still looking forward to seeing where this could go, whether it would feel like a step up. So, did it deliver? Was it good? Did it smash it out the park? No, it didn't, in my opinion. Unfortunately, I really, really didn't enjoy this. However, there are positives, and I'm not going to be that kind of YouTuber to go just focus on all the negatives. We'll talk about the positives. We'll talk about a few things I didn't like, and I'll give a sort of summary. But I've just come out of this episode feeling really just unenthusiastic and just being like, well, that was a thing, wasn't it? Like, for me, I feel like just from the bat, better than the Tsuranga Conundrum, probably better than Arachnids in the UK as well. So it's definitely not the worst thing in Whitacre's era, however it's definitely in the lower half, probably in the lower quarter as well, let's be honest. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's summarise the story first, then we're going to talk about characters and little bits and bats that I liked and didn't like, and then score out of 10. So yeah, let's do that. The story is kind of a basic one, getting sent to a sort of tranquility spa place, quite nice, kind of chill, but there's monsters around the exterior of the spa that are trying to get in and just kill people. Yeah, and that's basically it. It's sort of a, it would have worked a lot better if it was kind of a base under siege, but it didn't really feel like a base under siege. It felt more like base under siege mixed with like the Ghost Monument, mixed with the Tsuranga Conundrum, mixed with loads of other Doctor Who tropes. Those things I was watching it going, I hope it does this, and it just didn't. Which I suppose, you can't really judge it on, because, then I'd be going Last Jedi territory, where people just judge a thing based on their expectations personally. I just felt like what they actually did do was quite disappointing and just nothing. I just feel nothing coming into this episode. But, there's bits I like, there's bits I didn't like. I think we'll just talk briefly about the characters. Just to summarise the story though, I feel the story idea isn't too bad. The story idea was there, solid, fine, nothing really too wrong with. It's just you've got to make sure to deliver the right things at the right point. So yeah, we'll talk about characters. Starting off with a big positive though, Geordi Whitacre. Yeah, again, just absolutely smashed it out of the park as the Doctor. Just genuinely feels like the Doctor now. Because, even in Series 11, there was a few bits where I was like, oh, come on, just give us some more to do, or give us something different to say that isn't just technobabble. I feel like with this, she was funnier, she's more entertaining, she's wittier. I loved the line at the beginning where Yaz is comments on 13 having, being in a bit of a mood. And 13 sort of snap response of I'm not in any mood. Just deadpan, just not even joking, not nothing. I quite liked that. It was kind of I didn't expect that from 13, and I quite liked that. So I'm quite liking to see more of that side of her character. Even in this episode in general, the humour was pretty good. The joking, the running around, the technobabble was actually quite good. Geordi did a great job with what she was given. It's just unfortunate that what she was given wasn't top tier, really. I'll talk about the whole global warming preachy stuff towards the end of this video, but I think even that final speech, which I felt was way too sort of overly preachy and political and just a little bit too far, you know what I mean? I'm not one to delve into politics. You saw my Series 11 reviews, and I've seen a lot of people criticising last series online about its stance and all the little things, and I thought that was petty. However, this episode is the first time I've watched Doctor Who in a while where I felt that's a little bit too far of a push on the whole global warming, or just a political angle in general. It's too obvious, I think, and that was very, very much so. And it's a good political message. I totally agree with it. However, I think it was just a bit much, especially in that final speech. However, Geordi carried it convincingly. She felt like the Doctor still. She felt like what she was saying was well warranted towards the companions. She still managed to carry that scene despite the script not being amazing. So props to Geordi for that. Graham was quite funny. Again, Graham's just great all the time. Like, he's just amusing. He's funny to watch. I enjoy sort of episodes with him, you know, having a few good lines. He didn't do too much in this story. He basically did next to nothing apart from just chill and run about a little bit. I didn't mind that. Graham barely got anything to do. However, I was still fine with it. I still feel like I enjoyed his performance. There was nothing wrong with it, nothing bad about it, just there, and it was fine, you know. Sometimes companions have to take a step back, sometimes they have to be in the foreground, background, whatever. I don't mind Graham in this episode. Ryan's still weird for me, because I still feel like Ryan's probably my least favourite of the three companions. Like, I'm trying really hard to like him, but I just feel like there's some things that don't click with me personally. I think that what they're doing with the character was interesting. The love interest, totally over my head. I don't know why. I mean, some of the lines that you were using were just, like, weird, and the fact that she still kissed him at the end, I was like, what? Was that actually meant to be a what? Are you joking? Yeah, a bit weird, I would have thought, personally. However, I didn't mind it. I thought it worked perfectly fine. It just was a bit odd, and, you know, it's one of those Doctor Who episodes where you can just sit back and be like, yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, I wasn't too impressed with Ryan's character in this episode, and I think every time it was a scene with him and that other character that I can't even remember the name of, so that just tells you a lot, doesn't it? But every time it's them two, I just kind of switched off. I was like, well, I'm not bothered about this bit. I'm more bothered about seeing what Geordi's doing and all that sort of thing. Yasmin, I thought, again, did quite a bit. She felt like more of a presence. I'm actually enjoying her being a companion more than I am with Ryan, but I still wish she got more. It would actually be more interesting, way more interesting, if she and Ryan were swapped in this episode. Ryan and Graham stayed together, and Yasmin and the other girl, you know, messed about or whatever. I feel like that would have given Yasmin a lot more to do. And then obviously, if they're going down the route of her sexuality, which a lot of people on Twitter I know have been talking about and theorising about, if the show does plan to make Yasmin an LGBT character, having that kiss could have been an interesting sort of wink or sort of nudge towards that. If they're not planning on doing that, doesn't matter. But I think that, you know, that not only would have given her a lot more character and a lot more stuff to do in this episode, you know, whereas Ryan I don't feel carries that as much, and I feel like I've seen enough of Ryan now. I want to see more of Yaz. So I'm getting to a point where I'm feeling like I'm seeing too much of Ryan and not enough of Yasmin, and I kind of want to flip that a little bit, just for, you know, temporarily, because I think I'm even still enjoying Yasmin more, even if she doesn't do much. The monsters in this story, yes, very good, very, very good. Quite scary, quite well shot. The CGI on some of them looked pretty good. I know a lot of it was costume, but there was a few shots where it was definitely CGI, and it looked fine. It looked believable. I really enjoyed that element of it. I like the idea that they breathe in CO2 and produce oxygen. That's a very clever concept. I don't think it was played with anywhere near as well as it could have been. I feel like they could have done a lot more with that personally. However, I still think the concept was, you know, vaguely well done. I thought the monsters were convincingly scary at times. I just wish we'd seen them be a little bit more brutal, maybe like actually see them kill someone or something like that, just because I feel like they did nothing, you know what I mean? I felt like they were very similar in that aspect to the Fisher King from Before the Flood, I think it's called, from Series 9. However, the Fisher King actually had a presence, was quite scary, and actually did kill a few characters. I know we know these monsters did kill people, but we don't see the corpses. We never see the corpses. We never see them actually kill anyone. We never even see the old man die, even though we know he dies. And I love Laura Fraser just being like, all right, bang, I killed him. I killed your husband, by the way. I kind of love that. I thought it was just funny. I think that's my natural reaction to a lot of stuff in this episode, was just sitting back going, either, oh Jesus, or just laughing, because that's the stretch of this episode. It's a filler episode, isn't it? Really. We'll talk about the other characters. Can't remember any of their names, if I'm being honest with you. I thought James Buckley was wasted, similar to how he was wasted in Red Dwarf. I thought he's a very good actor, yet again, but he just plays himself, basically. He did in Red Dwarf, he did here. You know, it's nothing really that I'll remember. You know, even in Time to Come, he did nothing, so I'll not even remember that he was in this episode. Laura Fraser was pretty good. She did a pretty convincing job at being a bit of a pain. Not a very nice character, however, still coming out on top in the end. The whole mother-daughter thing was fine, a bit, you know, cliche, but fine, you know, fine, enjoyable enough. All the other characters, the old people got on my wick a little bit. I didn't really like them. I thought they were a bit annoying. Yeah, just a mix of different things with the other characters, but nothing memorable, nothing really stand out. Bits about the episode that I liked and didn't like, more so didn't like in this, like standout bits that I didn't like. Let's talk about the political stuff. So, I feel like this episode was too preachy. Now, I've never made that claim with Doctor Who before. You know, it's always been obvious every now and then. I know a lot of people had a problem with that in Series 11. I'm not the kind of person to pick out political issues. Because the thing is, and this is one thing I make clear, I agree with this political issue. It should be explored. It should be made aware of. I just thought it went a bit too far. I think there was a line, as like, you could joke, you know, not joke about it, but you could put stuff in about it. I like the fact that it was Earth. That was a great twist. I love the fact that it was Earth, you know. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. And I liked the reasoning behind it, and I liked the idea that it was all about global warming, etc, etc, etc. And then it was too far. It was slightly too far, and then that last speech just felt really too much for me. We'll talk about the ending in just a bit, but I think in general, you know, the sort of political stuff, I agree with the political message they're trying to push, so I didn't have too much of a problem with it. However, I did, when it's too obvious, you sort of go, well, I'm not even in the story anymore. You've just cracked me in the face with a baseball bat and went, ha 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 ha. It was just too preachy in places, which is such a shame, because I hate saying it, because I don't even like talking about politics, especially in regards to Doctor Who on the channel. I just like to enjoy Doctor Who, but this one, it's so obvious that you can't ignore it, really. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt about that. The ending was weird, like it was a really weird ending. Jodie's speech perfectly fine, but the way it just went, she the last word of the episode was "or," so she said this "or," and then implying the alternative, the monster thing. But it was just a shot of the monster roaring and then the end credits. So I think my reaction, I think probably a few other people's reactions as well, was just like, wait, that's it? That what? Like, just weird. Not a very good one to put right at the beginning of Series 12, if I'm being honest. Spyfall Part 1 was great, Spyfall Part 2 was really good as well. Orphan 55, I was just like, oh, so promising. Next week looks good though, and that's hopefully good, and then the Jadoom ones after that, and then Pete McTeague. So I'm looking forward to seeing what other writers can do at the moment, but Ed Heimer's kind of disappointing with this one, I've got to be honest. I'm not a massive fan of Orphan 55. It does have some redeeming factors. The acting is great in places. Some of the dialogue's actually pretty good and entertaining. The set design, the look of the episode was brilliant. However, there are a few major downsides that really pull away from the episode for me, and it's not one that I'm desperate to go and rewatch, like I was with Spyfall Part 1 and 2. So I think I'm going to give Orphan 55 a 4.5 out of 10. I would have given it 5, but I think it just slides slightly below, and I can't be too generous to it, I don't think. I don't feel like that anyway. But yeah, 4.5 out of 10 I think is fair. That's that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Comment below for any more suggestions in the future. Subscribe to the channel with notifications on if you haven't already. I will see you next week with 3 videos. Oh, hey, we've got some more videos coming. We've got Drunk Lords, which is a series we started a while ago. We reacted to Love and Monsters drunk, me and my mate from uni. Sat, had a drink, watched some Doctor Who, and this time we're watching Hellbent, so that's going to be fun. So you can catch that this week, as well as everything we know about Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, which is episode 4, as well as the review next Sunday as well. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see more of that, etc, etc, etc. We've got a Patreon, we've got a Discord. Join the conversation, support the channel. Both those options down available in the description, as is my social media, so you can go and check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.